Hi and welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to another unedited Soulstone Survivors video. Curse level 4 on the 4th map. We're trying it again. Last time we failed. We failed with the... I don't know the exact name of the character, but I knew that I kind of told you that he looked like Radagast the Brown from The Hobbit, and I also used it in my thumbnail, I believe. So it wasn't that great, you know, that character. I mean, I think the characters all look cool and they have diverse aesthetics and stuff. They are very different from each other, and I think that's very nice. That helps to keep the game feel a little bit fresh. But some of those characters just don't feel that great. Like the Legionnaire also wasn't all that hot. And I feel like that guy from the woods, that little druidic guy, was also not the strongest person we have ever encountered. Especially with this debuff of receiving less experience, right? That's really a weird decision, and I think that makes it a lot harder as well. What we will be doing today is we are playing with the Sentinel, this guy's name is, I believe, yeah? Upgraded weapon, and we're gonna go back to our success formula, our success story, our game plan that usually works out. We're just gonna pick a whole lot of frontal, possibly also physical abilities, and we have a rune build that kind of suits that approach well. We're not gonna go too crazy anymore. We're not gonna try too many amazing new cool builds in this video. No, we're gonna make some progress, you know? Sure, I'll apply Burn when I apply Dazed. Shadow Spikes is of course also pretty nice. It is frontal, it applies Doom or Darkness or whatever, and that's very handy. Getting a lot of experience here at the start. And all in all, I can already feel that we are doing like better already than we did last time. Void is a nice helper. That keeps our enemies in place, because of course we have the rune that makes focus fire right here. The area of all my skills is smaller, so Void really helps me out there because it keeps all the enemies in one single spot. How have you guys been doing? I've been doing great. Yesterday I had kind of a welcome party, if you will. Well, it was just a party at work, but for me it was a welcome party because it was actually my first experience with the team and the workplace and stuff. It was because they existed for 5 years in that location. And then we are getting some potent upgrades right here. We're really doing great. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm gonna... Bloodlust. Bloodlust is definitely fine. I'm not hungover, but I'm also not hung under, you know? I'm just pretty hung. Okay. Either way, you know, sometimes your brain tells you like, look, you're gonna have a day today. You're gonna be able to do some stuff. You're still gonna be able to go to some places. You're gonna be able to even exercise if you want. You don't have to stay in bed the entire day, but it's not gonna be the best day of your life. And that's exactly the kind of feeling that I have right now. It's not a hangover. It's not even close to that, but my brain is telling me like, yeah, I know what you did last night. I know you drank some things. But it was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. During my job interview, they told me like, we know that you're gonna be an independent worker here, so you don't have any obligations to really be in the team. You just can see your clients and that's that. But that's not actually really what we are looking for in getting a lot of magnetic upgrades in a new person, a new addition to our team. So they were like, look, we want to hire you, that's for sure, but you have to at least be a little bit involved with our team and come to our after work drinks and all that stuff, because we want a team player. We don't just want somebody that comes in here, does his job and then goes away immediately. No, there needs to be a little bit of engagement, you know? And I appreciate that. I'm gonna replace Spreadshot. I appreciate that a lot. And that's exactly why last night on my first day there, and also the day that I could make my first impressions, I decided, you know, my mission today is to stay as one of the final people. So stay as long as the party actually goes on. And that's exactly what I did. So I got home at about 3 in the morning, a little bit earlier than 3, but when I was in bed and stuff, it was 3. Yeah, that was definitely long enough. It was a lot of fun. But then all of a sudden they were like, you know what we're gonna do? You know what this party misses? We're gonna do some shots of tequila. And I know, not from personal experience, but from stories from multiple people, that drink is dangerous. That drink is like a trap. I think it's one of those drinks where you can take a shot and you're like, oh man, I don't feel anything, I need another one. And then all of a sudden you just get like a brick to the face and you're just gone for the rest of the evening. I don't think I'm an excessive drinker at all. No, I don't regularly drink. But when the chance arises, when the opportunity arises, sure. But I'll go for like a glass or two. I haven't been like severely drunk in years, maybe. At least months, but I think it's gonna be years. Like actually like drunk? No, never. And that is because I realized quite soon that that is absolutely not worth it at all. It's not worth it in the slightest, because you lose an entire day the next day just because you took those 2 or 3 extra drinks, and it's not worth it. Being tipsy, having your boundaries a bit lower, being a bit more talkative, being a bit loose, that's all fine, and I think that's a fun experience. Although we know, of course, that any amount of alcohol in the end is always going to be detrimental to your health. It's never going to be good for you. But either way, yeah, normally I'm quite, or not normally, I'm always quite set on knowing my boundaries and not going over them. Especially when it comes to drinking, but also generally in life. If somebody would ask me like, hey, you want to go skydiving? Absolutely not. If somebody asks me like, hey, you want to go on a skiing trip? Absolutely not. But I feel like now in this workplace that I'm starting, that's not always gonna work anymore. Because they have their own little program where they go surfing for a while. So I think I'm gonna have to broaden my horizons a little bit. Kind of try to do it differently. What am I replacing actually? Am I replacing Void? Am I going full projectile? Yeah, sure. Disregard everything I said about Void earlier, we're going our full projectile build again. Because we know that it can be successful. I feel like we're not at the point where I can really feel satisfied with how the build is going yet. We don't have those immediate damage bursts where a lord just disappears from the screen, but maybe it will come later. I did also take some survivability upgrades though, so that might explain that, but that might also explain why we will survive long enough to actually get rid of the boss. Well, that was quite a lot of damage, I can't deny that. We've taken a lot of defensive upgrades and also a lot of utility. We've taken a whole lot of magnetic upgrades this run already, which means that we are already level 46 quite early in the run. Because if you don't know, magnetic doesn't only increase your pickup range, it also increases the effectiveness of experience, so you level up quicker, which is beautiful, very handy. What am I doing later today? I'm not quizzing, I'm going for a nice game of padel. The sport that is kind of a crossover between tennis, squash. Yeah, that's it, those two, right? Tennis and squash. It's mostly tennis. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be cold as digs though, I can tell you that much. It's gonna be absolutely insanely cold. But last episode, maybe I've been recording a bit too many YouTube videos lately. Last time we went for a small little game of padel. We were actually pleasantly surprised with the temperatures. Once you start exercising, of course, it's gonna be a little bit hotter than you expected. It's gonna be way more doable than when you're just outside in the cold and standing still. But it was actually quite pleasant. It was still absolutely fine. It was absolutely okay to be outside at that hour, even though it was already in the evening when it was dark outside and cold outside. But yeah, it was still fun, and I hope that today it's gonna be equally as fun. The last time was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so now maybe it's also a bit more in our muscle memory, and maybe we will get to a point of playing where we have some decent rallies or decent sets quicker. And all in all, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm gonna have a blast. How are we doing over here? We have, yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Because all the defensive and utility upgrades and stuff, but I feel like we are killing enemies a bit too slow for my liking. It's not gonna be a speedrun attempt, I can tell you that much. It doesn't have to be though, we have time of course, we can just talk together, have a nice grand old time together. We don't need to speedrun these things, we can talk about everything and nothing at the same time. Kind of a little Green Day reference in there, but not too on the nose, you know, because I think he also uses the word whine about everything and nothing at once or something, instead of using the word stalk about it. One of my favorite bands when I was younger, Green Day, Billy Joel Armstrong, I believe the name of the singer is, who, if I'm not mistaken, has been dealing with substance use problems for a large part of his life already. Don't quote me on that because I'm not completely sure, but I do feel like I have seen the clips of him like coming on stage drunk or yelling at the producers for having them stop their set where he is clearly also intoxicated. And it's quite sad, but it happens a lot to artists, of course. But yeah, American Idiot used to be my favorite. We had the CD of Green Day earlier when my dad picked me up from school, but this was really just like elementary school still, and even kindergarten. And I always asked to put on the Green Day CD. And for me, it was always American Idiot, and then also Holiday I really loved. And my brother was actually really into Boulevard of Broken Dreams, but then that was not my forte, that was not my favorite song. So it was kind of a battle. Most of the time we had enough time on the drive home to just listen to all 3 songs, so that was fine. But I know I appreciate my dad definitely for dealing with the intense repetition of Green Day songs throughout my childhood. I even brought the CD, I brought the record to class in the first year of elementary school, but because I thought it was something really cool to do and we could listen to it together. And my teacher even agreed to do that. Just randomly in the afternoon while we were working on something else, some art project or something, I think he was like, yeah, alright Vincent, I'll put on your CD. I guess he didn't know Green Day back then, because then it was like American Idiot and you could hear the violent guitar riffs and the lyrics that were kind of opposing the system, a bit anarchy influenced. And my teacher was like, interesting. Interesting stuff for a 6-year-old to be listening to. Possibly had a nice conversation with my parents about like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? How are you raising this child? But in the end, I think it all worked out fine. And I think my music taste is definitely... Ooh, we're in some trouble. My music taste is definitely something heavily influenced by my time at home, by social learning, by looking at what my parents were listening to. And I am grateful to them for that. I also evolved it a lot and developed it a lot on my own though, because electronic music like techno and house and drum and bass are all things that they are not into in the slightest, but I am very, very much into actually. So that's something I developed on my own. But the interest in music in general and in some good old classic rock music and stuff like that, that's definitely from home. They are also very interested in metal and like the actual deathcore stuff, like the really, really screaming music, if you will, for someone that is on the outside, somebody that doesn't really enjoy those genres. It all sounds a bit like pig squealing, and that's something I never really got into. That's our second revive bot. Alright, we're not gonna go crazy anymore, we're just gonna kite. We're gonna kite all the way, and it's gonna work out fine. Copium. Copium to the maximum. We're just gonna run around in circles. We have some projectiles that can reach them definitely, even though they are off screen, so we're just gonna wait. Nice and calm. Make sure that the area in front of us is always clear, that one lord is almost dead. We're gonna circle back into the vicinity of this little purple tower here to get rid of it, because those always drop a lot of experience. Beautiful, there we go. And then now we're circling back around. The bosses are a bit in the middle. I'll go into the middle a little bit, probably get rid of this first one. We can't afford to pick up another Leviathan because we're already moving too slow to kite effectively. And there we go. Back in circles. The incantation of fire is a lord you always have to be very, very careful with, because he can really smack your bitch up. As no, I'm not gonna try to pronounce the artist's name because I'm not sure. It's something either with bot or boy, I think. It's been a while since I've listened to that song now, but... Smack my bitch up. Quite controversial lyrics. I don't know the exact meaning of it, but if it's household violence, then that's not cool. That's pretty sus making a song about that. Maybe it has another meaning though. Not sure about that. Alright, the incantation of fire. Come on, let's get some hits in. Let's get some debuffs stacked up on this mother trucker. And we are being chased by an army of spiders as well, so we need to be careful. Dealt with them proficiently. Circle around, get in there a little bit. Don't walk into the fire again like we did last time. Get rid of this tower. Alright, he's at half health. He's at half health. I believe that we're gonna be able to do this. We have to pay some attention, we have to be a little bit careful, but this would be a great run to go in the endless mode, I think, as well. With all of our magnetic upgrades, I think we would level up quite quickly in the endless mode, actually. But I think that I want to produce multiple videos today in this day that I have. I'm still in my home, my own home, but I need to go back to my parental place later this evening. But now I still have the time to record, and I finally have the time to record, if you will. So I'm gonna try to make the videos a little bit shorter if possible, so that I can record multiple and get that backlog going a little bit, at least on the daily Soulstone Survivors videos. I can't afford to make 2 videos for every single day now. It's too busy for me, or at least right now, because I'm still figuring all those things out. But in the future, who knows? I am still gonna produce some 9 AM edited videos, oh, that's for sure. I have one in the tank being waited. Having to be uploaded soon, about the book that I'm covering on my channel, that I'm really covering in depth on my channel. I have the second part of that series coming up soon, but I'm gonna try to do the upload later today at home on my laptop. It's very annoying for me to render and upload videos on this computer, because it means that I can't do anything else with it for hours on end, especially the rendering. My computer is just so outdated that it takes a whole while to actually render some of these videos, especially now that I did some endless attempts and the videos were even longer than normally. That didn't make it easier, no, not at all. And if you don't know, when you're rendering videos, you really can't afford to be doing other things, at least not with my machine right here, because it takes up so much of the capacities of your PC that it wouldn't be fun doing anything else. We're fighting the final set of lords. It's quite difficult to reach them. This guy is always chasing me, so it's easier to reach him, but I definitely want to make sure that I complete this run with a victory screen and not a defeat screen in the end. So I'm trying to circle in, circle out, kind of maneuver effectively and strategically, so that I can apply the damage, but I'm never in too much trouble. That's quite a large laser. The Chaos Bringer right here, I love him. That's my favorite boss to kill probably. Or well, it's in my opinion one of the easiest bosses to kill, because he will just always run towards you, but not quick enough to actually catch up immediately. And also not quick enough to mustard our mayonnaise immediately, you know what I'm saying? If you would be able to give me a high five to the screen, would you do it, or would you slap me in the face for jokes like that? I think I would give my favorite content creator a high five if he would make jokes like that, because it's just a classic, you know? I know that when in Grand Theft Auto Online, when we're playing races together with our buddies, you always have the option to turn catch up on or off, and it's just always the same joke. What about mayonnaise? Here in Belgium, mayonnaise is a very frequently consumed item of food, but I feel like in other places in the world, it's more of a... It's not the sauce that gets consumed the most. Some people almost never eat mayonnaise. I know that in America, for example, they eat ranch dressing, I believe, a lot more than just mayonnaise. And here in Belgium, it's just a staple of our cuisine. Een goede klodder mayonaise, as we say. And I think that's beautiful. It's also my favorite sauce, I think. It's a debate that has been going on in my friend groups, because I always bring it up when there's nothing else to talk about. If you would have to eat one sauce with your fries for the rest of your life, what would it be? And a lot of people say samurai sauce, which is spicy, and then I smack them in the back of their head really hard to kind of get their brain back in order, because why would you torment yourself like that for the rest of your life? Even though I quite like spicy food, but you want something with like a nice, warm, welcoming, open arms taste, like, and not something that burns the top of your mouth off. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a bit too much of a pussy when it comes to spicy food lately, but either way, no, give me mayonnaise, man. Give me mayonnaise every single day of the goddamn week. You probably shouldn't give me fries every day of the goddamn week, though, because that's not gonna end quite well. I think that's gonna lead to some clogging of the old arteries. Make sure that we're not into the boss's range too far. We have only one lord remaining to kill. Some nice hits in there, applying a lot of darkness text. Let's circle around a little bit, but I'm not gonna go too crazy because we've come so far, so I just need to be patient a little bit and I don't have to move in too directly. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Alright. As I told you, this vicious strikes. Very nice. Great timing. Oh, we weren't quick enough to actually go into endless mode even, so no problem at all. But there we go. This type of build always does a trick, you know? Never doubt it. Just never doubt it. A nice 20-minute video, level 18 prestige with the Sentinel. That's beautiful. Our character prestiges are getting up there, and our clearing of the worlds of the different maps is also definitely getting up there. The Dungeon of Despair is next on our list with Curse level 4, and then we're moving on to Curse level 5. Is Curse level 4 Dungeons of Despair what I need to unlock this little fella? No, tier 5 on the Frozen Wastelands. Alright, so we're almost here. And then I believe, I'm not sure, but this is probably gonna be our main man from then on, because I want to see how overpowered he actually is. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.